name's Dave. I'm here in San Francisco, southern Leyte, in a barangay called Santa Cruz. This barangay is suffering from failing a water system. So we've come out here to look at this and to see what can be done. I'm confident that I can eventually fund this. Even if I have to pull out a personal loan, it's going to get done. These people don't have water, and we're going to take a look at that. So come hang out with me for a little while. We'll look at it. So let's go to work. We're going to go look at the storage tank at the top of the hill. I don't know if you can see it. Right there. There it is. Okay, so this is a storage tank. They've got these like overflow pipes, and I guess I don't know why there's two like that, but mice and bugs and rats and crap get in there going after the water. So this is not a good solution. I mean, it works. I guess that's where it gets fed, right there, probably. So we're gonna walk up and inspect this line here and see if there's any leaks. I suspect they're not, because the main lines that are heading into these have been replaced within the last year or two. So they're okay. But I think we would still want to just come through and redo them. I don't know anything about plumbing, but I can find people who do and insert them where I need them. It's all logistics. That's all it is. This was easier when I was 22 instead of 35. But anyway, I'm inspecting the lines here. We're just looking for leaks. So I'm making this video to try to help people and get some funding and whatever. So keep in mind, I don't know shit about plumbing. I really don't. I don't know what the pipes are called, or the joints, or the splices, or I don't know. Like, and it doesn't take a real genius to see that this system needs to be replaced. My skills lie in logistics. I don't know how to do certain things, so I find the people that do, and I insert them where I need them. So coming up here to the path to see the water reservoir, we have in the tree a hive, which is the Philippines version of the killer bee like we have in the USA. So I'm gonna be real quiet, go past. I don't want to die to killer bees. What's the name of it?
This native name, Sagay.
Sagay?
Yeah.
So these leaves, if I touch them, my skin will burn?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's very simple. You need hospitalization, really.
Two sources here. And there's another one down there that we just looked at. This is where the water comes out of the ground they rely on. So if there's less rain, it's less water that comes out here. What we need is a community well that's closer to the community. This is about 2 kilometers away. It comes from the source and it goes here. Yep. Here's where they're collecting the sand for the concrete that they're going to use to build the source. Everybody comes together. It's a big job actually when you do it with just your hands. So these are people that are trying to help themselves. They're trying to fix their water system. They're not relying on anyone else to help them. But the problem is that they have the means, but not the money. So it's not just like these people are asking for a free handout because they're not willing to do for themselves. As you can see, they're using their bare hands to claw at the rocks to pull the sand out so that they can build another source and their families can have water. This is where they have to climb to service the source. This is the new source. So they're going to frame it, put concrete on it, and the water will come out and add to the water that's leaking out in the barangay below. Here they're working on the frame. Which they have filled with concrete. They're going to do the next stage, which is to create a top to this thing and eventually a lid. So ideally this will fill up with water and it'll come out of these pipes, flow downstream or downhill to the barangay way down below on the mountain, or below the mountain. And here's an example of the difference. This pipe is a neighboring barangay. It's about half the size as this pipe, which is our barangay, Santa Cruz. Barangay Bongbong has twice as many people, but no water problems, because their system that ties into this is newer, doesn't have any leaks, so they have enough supply to everyone. But Santa Cruz, once we get these new pipes and they attach into the system down below, that's where all hell breaks loose. That's where all the water's leaking out, all the bacteria is getting in, and that's why we don't have water. So they're trying to add sources to increase the amount of water to flow down this pipe, and that's just futile. This is one of the reservoir tanks that we've got to deal with. These old 50-year-old reservoir tanks. Maybe this one's not as old, but you know, the tank is overflowing. The overflow valve is going off. This whole tank is filled to the brim and overflowing, but yet at the bottom of the system we've got no water. So it just goes to show you just how much loss is happening across the entire system. So, man, this is a hell of a walk just to get up this mountain behind me to where the water is. You can't even see the mountain, the jungle's so thick. It's actually up there behind the trees. Very steep. The water, the rocks are covered with a slick that's like ice. So this is a treacherous walk or hike that they have to take every day, busting their knees, passing killer bees and trees that burn so bad that you have to go to the hospital after it stings you. They got a water system. It was first installed in the 1970s. It's been through Yolanda. It's been through many. Oh, here. Just walking past. Look at this. Look at this. See this? That's water shooting out under the rock. On top of the pipe. The pipe runs under the ground here. And that's how they have to stop the water leaking. That's all they have. This tap. See how much water they're losing? It's ridiculous. And how many liters per hour you think that is? Tons. There's the pipe under there. And this brush runs right here. Runs right here. There's the pipe. Good luck, Santa Cruz. So there you have it. It's a perfect example. I mean, that's the worst leak I've seen, and I'm not even sure that anybody other than me and maybe whoever put that rock there knows about it. So it's just shooting out of there. That's all precious water. I'm guessing this entire project probably needs 500,000 pesos. So we're talking maybe 20,000 total US dollars. But even so, that's just to get a water system that they need for the future. They need an upgrade that's going to last them 50 years. Here's another location. All the pipes just spreading. Nobody really knows where all these are going, what they're going to. All these could be served out by a single main line, which would be more efficient in the water usage. And as you can see, it's wet here. It's always leaking. I would say a good 70% of the barangay's water source is lost through leaking out on the grounds. In order to compensate for all the leaking, they've tried to tap more sources of water from the river. And this, the big pipe here, is where they're upgrading to the bigger size to bring more water down. But this is only a band-aid on the problem. This skinny line is their old line. But as you can see, it's going to be the same kind of pipe, patchwork gonna be leaking in places. And increasing the supply of water doesn't really solve the problem, because you're just increasing how fast it'll leak later on. So for now, this is a band-aid to try to at least get water to people who need it, because it's been, I don't know, months and months and months. People have been running out of water, not having water in the middle of the day. And not having water in the jungle is a very, very, very serious problem. Everything has to be washed. There's pathogens on everything. Not to mention dehydration can set in just an hour or two out here. Another example, some 50 feet away. Just constant leaking coming out of this joint right here. It's incorrectly done anyway. But this is where the water system has been patched together and done over many, many years of expansion, typhoons destroying the infrastructure. So, see, it just flows down. As you can see, the main lines, they get buried in some places, and they come out of the ground in others. So we can't really inspect the whole thing. There could be leaks coming from under the ground, and in some areas, the water that leaks out from underneath the ground would suggest that it is. But this line looks fairly new. But that's kind of the issue, is the entire water system is connected with new parts to old parts. And where it is spliced together, I mean, I'm surprised this doesn't leak right here, but as you can see, the rubber is starting to get brittle and fall apart. That'll fail within the next couple of years. And then they have yet more water loss onto the ground. And these pipes just run string all over randomly to the barangay. What we're gonna try to do is replace all of this, but we're gonna do it right this time. Instead of it just being laid down randomly over many years and fixed and repaired, we want to try to get entire new system entirely mapped out, ready for additional houses to be built and everything, because this place will expand. This is one of the many spots here in Santa Cruz where the maintenance is not getting done because of lack of funding. This is the public water tap. It's part of the failing water system that needs complete replacement within the next year. Currently there is no water because it keeps running out, so they need to upgrade their tanks and fix all their lines. The fees for this aren't very high, but it's just a matter of having the funding. So that's what we're going to try to do, is get the funding. So all this stuff, I mean, this is just subpar work. We've got 3 pipes leading off of one joint here, and look at this. This is just how they've had to make do, and all of these joints all over the barangay are leaking and need to be replaced. All these pipes are so old. I mean, they're rusting and they're not correctly linked up. So I don't know, even know what this is. It's like a rubber garden hose hooked into what looks like copper piping, or maybe not even copper. I don't think copper rusts like that. Here we continue the theme of just random hoses and pipes leading off the main lines. And see, these hoses are kind of essentially going to the same direction. So why is it all just fed through one pipe? And of course, here we go as an example of leaks underneath the ground. So these are sucking in dirt in different places, and it's blocking the lines because it eventually clogs up. Here's another problem that we face is within the system itself. It's the inorganization that it's been laid down. Like, why are there two lines here? Where do they go? Where do they come from? Nobody knows. It's not mapped. So we can try to follow it, but there's places it gets buried under the ground, and it's where one line becomes three or three become one. So it provides significant challenge in sourcing out, who's missing water, why do they not have water, because what happens is 25, 30, or 40% of the houses will each have water, but there'll be individual ones mixed in that don't. So it's hard to locate which line they're on to be able to diagnose the problems. And most of it's probably because there's air in the line, because it leaks everywhere. Leaks are a problem with the water system all over the barangay. There's one leak, and just a few short feet away, got another one. That's a big leak. Looks like rubber strapping or something that I used to repair.
What is yours?
Oh man, it seems like the farther and farther I go on the system, the worse and worse it gets. There's a specific part right here. It's a private tap on the back of a residence. As you can see, it's improperly done and it's leaking all over. And this is why the entire barangay just keeps running out of water. It's because everywhere it's hooked up, it's just got constant leaking out on the ground. So all this stuff, everything is just kind of pieced together from what they could get a hold of or what's around. Nothing goes to waste. But if we can get all this replaced and brand new and fresh, get a completely closed system that's not leaking with air in it, we can hopefully get everybody the water that they need. Look at this. See how it's just rusted and corroded? It's just gonna keep failing. So thanks for taking the time to watch my video. I'm tired. It's the end of a long day. I appreciate you sticking around. First and foremost, if you don't have money that you can go donate, or you don't feel comfortable giving money, I totally understand. I'm just some dude on the internet to you. But you could send us plumbing supplies. That would be great. If they could just show up and we could just start, fixing some of the issues that we have. I will provide information to that. You can always email me, and I will put my email below, and then we can get into communication on how you can help. If you can't really do anything, like, fucking tell people about it. Like, just slap it on your stupid Facebook feed that nobody reads, or upvote it on Reddit or something like that. Try to get other people to at least look at it. All in all, I would say to give them a system that will be here for many, many years to come, we're looking at 500,000 pesos at least. The biggest expense would be the tanks, I think. We want to try to get a community with deep well drilled. That would probably be the best solution, because right now we're piping it way down from the mountain, and sometimes the source runs dry if there hasn't been rains in a while. So that's a big issue too. So
at least maybe they can be a combination from both the mountain spring water and a community well that can add to it.
It's okay, little goats.